What's going on, guys? So, I'm sick. I'm coughing a lot. And, this video might go over. But you know what? This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. And, this is my 5 reasons, or not 5 reasons, 5 things that all new players do. Even some seasoned players do this. I'm guilty of the one. But, yeah. So, without further ado, let's get started. My turn? Okay. Draw. Holy shit! Play 1 card face down. Yeah, so what that was is basically excited drawing, or not a game face, basically. I have a second one that kind of goes with this, but yeah, excited drawing. When you draw something good, keep it to yourself, okay? New players have a very good tendency when they draw something, they're like, oh shit, or they smile or something, it's like, great. They either got something, or they don't really have much, and then they do something and they look like an idiot when it doesn't go over well. Yeah. When you draw, keep your solid face, don't look like you're excited, don't look like you're not. Just play. You don't need to fucking tell your opponent what you just did or got. Like, just don't do that, okay? New player. And I'm not being mean about it, I'm just saying in your head. When you're playing and you're new, try not to do that. Now, if you're with friends or something, it's different, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna beat you or whatever, but like, when you're at a tournament, no, don't do that. Now, this kind of goes with the excited drawing for my second one, is the excited face when you don't even have anything, but you're just like looking at the fields and you go like this. Oh. Alright, I got this one back. Alright, here you go. Yeah, overconfidence is good for some things, but don't act like you got the game in, because he might have something completely against you. Also saying that means he should be ready next turn, because he thinks you have something good going. Or otherwise, if you're setting up a play and he doesn't know it, you could just, set up your play and have a straight face, and he wouldn't think much of it because you only played like 1 card. So, you're letting him know he's a play, so he wants to be more aggressive because you haven't set it up yet, obviously. So now, the other one that's a big deal that everybody does is, this goes under 2 things, it's one thing together, is misplays and know your deck. Okay, so I understand when you get a new deck, you're learning it, that's what deck testing is for. I'm not saying that there aren't going to be misplays, like there's duels for deck testing that you're going to misplay because you don't know what you're doing. But misplays of like not knowing rulings or stuff like that with a deck that you're supposed to be using a tournament for, like going to a tournament and you're still doing these misplays because you don't know your deck, play the deck, know what it's doing. Don't have to read a card every 5 seconds. Like once in a while you might have a question about a card or a ruling. Everybody has that moment. You don't have to read constantly. That means you don't know your deck, that means you don't know what you're doing, that means you shouldn't be playing that deck, which also means you're probably not a good player. But like I said, it's different. If you're dueling with friends, or you tell somebody, yeah, this is a deck test, I don't know the deck that well, or you're on Death Row, that is a different story, because you don't know the deck yet, you're trying to learn it. But don't go to a tournament that you do not know the deck at all. You should know all your cards, and you should know what they do. Also, know rulings, not just about your deck, but other cards. Know the rulings of specific things. Don't call a judge every 10 seconds. People hate judges. Alright, now for my 4th one, because those were 3 basically, some were just mixed. For my 4th one, decks that don't make sense. Deck building is new to you when you're a new player, but there's a lot of players that make decks that make no sense. Like, the cards just don't go together, like, it doesn't make any sense, but they keep doing it. They keep adding more cards. You don't play a Lightsworn deck with 6 Lightsworns, okay? And throw in a bunch of other light monsters. I'm talking about things like that. Don't make decks that don't go together and the cards don't go together. Now, this might sound stupid to seasoned players, but there's a lot of new players that try to do, like, okay, this deck does something cool, like, Lightsworns do JD. Well, they're all gonna try to put, like, 3 other things with Lightsworns, so they're like, so not only can I have JD, I can have all this other stuff, but it doesn't actually go together. Like, in their head, it looks like it's good. I'm not calling them stupid, it's just they were new to the game. But when you're actually in the field and you're actually playing the deck, all those other things that you try to do, they might go once in a while, but they won't mix with the Lightsworn thing, which is your main deck, and it won't go together. Now there's some things to this that do go together, like Chaos Dragons and Lightsworns go together, and what I call a Dragon Sworn, the like elemental dragons with Chaos with JD and Lightsworns, those go together. And there's other things that Lightsworns go with, but I'm just saying, for like, there's some people try to mix decks that just don't mix. And yes, I know if you're trying to try to make something cool, that's different. But like, if it's still not working, don't try to make it work and try to change it. There's just some things that aren't meant to be, and a lot of new players don't understand that you just can't make a deck do 10 things, okay? You should have your deck do the thing it's good at. And here's another one, and I'm guilty. This is the one that I'm really guilty of, and a lot of even seasoned players are guilty of, but it's just because you're interested in things. But complete decks, or the problem is not completed decks. they'll have like 8 decks and I'm not saying not every player has a huge library of like good cards. So they have all their good cards scattered like traps and stuff into all these decks, so it's like kind of like equal. Now, I say if you want to be competitive, you should have at least 2 solid decks that have all the cards you want. Like me, I try to spread out my traps with the 6 Samurais before I got more, and I was taking traps out of my Battle and Boxers that I really wanted in there in my 6 Sams because I didn't have any of them. You shouldn't do that. All your decks should have the amount of traps and cards that you want in there. Don't replace traps that aren't as good or put things that don't match with it. You should have a complete set of deck for a deck that you're willing to play. Now, if you're slowly building a deck and getting the cards, that's a different story. But I'm saying having 8 decks that are completed, like they're all playable, but they're not at their full potential because you're spreading cards thin because you don't have all the cards. Or you don't plan on getting them all because you're like, oh, I don't want to spend the money. Like, yeah, you can make some decks and they're fun, and because you don't have all the traps for them, that's different. But if you're trying to like make all of them are competitive, like there's just not one deck that's the best, like they're all kind of like have their cards, then you need to take out, if you have 8 decks, cut them in half by 4, so now you have 4 decks, and put all those good cards into those other ones. Make sure your decks are done, completed. That is my advice to the newbie player. There's probably other ones that other people have. So if you have any advice that you would give to a new player, comment below and tell them what you would tell them to do, and give them tips and things like that. See you later, guys. Peace!